Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever, the would-be judges, the 144,000, right, who are the tabernacle of David, the scattered Israelites, 12,000 men, from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, that 144,000 who happen to be primarily made up of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true Israelites, which this guy avoids that point and tries to say that they're Caucasian, after turning around and pointing out the fact that the J's, that being J-ish, does not make you an Israelite, which is the truth, all right? The kingdom of heaven will be here on earth, and it will be ruled over and judged. The judges of it will be the 144,000 under the rulership of who the world fraudulently and falsely called JC. All right. And to the rest of the scattered Israelites that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among all people, they have the appearance of all people. So it's not a black only thing. All right. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone, from the branch here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth, a brutal lesson in truth, correcting Charles Jennings, correcting Rabbi Jonathan, and this guy here, whatever his name is. All right. Or his name is Charles Jennings. All right. He's correcting Rabbi Jonathan Kahn. And he has corrects him because he still tries to make Edomites, all right, who are also Hebrews, all right, I know that they've been watching our videos. I know that they've been watching my videos. His talking points are almost mine to the point, what I've learned from the apostles and elders, but I don't think there's anyone else who goes into this topic as much as I do and into the depth that I do. All right. And that's just from what I see. I mean, this the way he's doing it is what I'm trying to say. All right. It's something that I go into weekly over and over and over again. All right. Why? Because I was taught that from the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone. And that topic is one that I cannot leave alone. Every time I try, something like this happens in my spirit, I have to address it. I can't ignore it, even though I've tried. I try to move on and I can't. So, we all are prisoners of hope. And we're all prisoners of the lot which the Lord has given us. And this is definitely mine, this particular subject within this thing of ours. All right. I'm at the front gate of this thing, at the city gates, at the walls. All right. Ready to swing my sword spiritually to defend this truth and this thing of ours. And before I go any further, and I highly suggest that some of the elder brothers, some of my contemporaries, or even some of those who are above me in this thing, get in on this, because this is fire. So let me get the copyright disclaimer. Okay, this monetized half-truth thing here, who basically hijacked what we do. Don't bring out the name. Make it a black thing only. I've never, on this We Woke channel, I've never heard them address or speak about the Northern Kingdom. They always try to make it a black only thing. So this is one of those things where Esau tries to, he can't beat it, so let's join him. All right, so he's still trying to control the narrative. But this is copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, so I'm going to let some of this play, and what I want to do is just bring out receipts as he goes along, to prove points and then to disprove the point, because he gets about to the 21st minute mark. I think I probably watched about 20 minutes of this. All right, so I'm about 11 minutes, 50 seconds into it. And he was given a lot of truth until he got to the point where he said that the Israelites went north into the mountains. They went and ran into the mountains. That's why they call Caucasians. The Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth, and a huge portion of Judah, that kingdom of Judah, actually went into North Africa, and from North Africa into the west coast of Africa. So this guy lied. He told a lot of truth, and then he turned around and lied and still tried to make Israel pale-fleshed, which some of Israel will be pale-fleshed. There's no way around that. All right, but the pale-fleshed race in a total, the pale red, pinkish flesh, those are the biblical Hebrew Edomites. Okay, and their own sources and information. Because in this video, they show you how a lot of the authors that wrote about the Khazarian mafia and the Khazars' conversion are credible. Though they try to so this is what Esau does. When you prove Esau wrong in court, what they do is they try to remove you from court or remove your evidence from court so that it's never heard. And I can give you that personally from battles in my own life. So they're doing the same thing on this playing field. They just try to remove the evidence. Oh, this is ludicrous, because they don't want that evidence brought forth before the people. Let's grab a scripture. This is no, not Genesis, but Deuteronomy 33:29. Gotta read it. And it reads, Happy art thou, Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by Yahweh, the shield of thy help, who is the sword of thy excellency, and thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon his high places. And Esau's high places are his lies. He lives his whole existence and has lived his whole existence in grandeur for this last 500+ years. Delusions of grandeur based upon historical and biblical lies.
Because I believe that Jonathan Cahn did a very, very poor job in trying to justify his point of view that the Jews are Israel. And he's trying to sell his book, Avatar, and sometimes I wonder if he has one or two motives in promoting the idea that the Jews are Israel.
Let's stop right there. First receipt is from the Jewish Encyclopedia Judaica 1971, volume 10, paragraph 23. And it simply reads, Edomite Jews began to call themselves Hebrews and Israelites in 1860. Encyclopedia Judaica 1971. Second receipt. Esau Edom is modern Jewry, 1925, Jewish Encyclopedia, volume 5, page 41. They are not Israel or Judah. It was basically what this Charles Jennings is proving, and it's true. All right, because they passed while everyone was distracted with the Charlie, assassination with Charles, dear old Charles's unfortunate death. All right, they passed this bill with in damn near every state that anyone that doesn't support the Israelis, this doesn't support Jewishness, doesn't support the state of Israel. All right, is semantics. All right, and that you could be council cultured and you could get, receive no aid from the government in your state.
Number one, a monetary motive to sell books. Number two, a political motive as a spokesman for a foreign nation. So he is just trying to advocate that the Jews are all of Israel, and therefore to justify our meaning the United States monetary and military and moral support for the modern state of Israel. Now, he said, he started out, those that do not believe that the Jews are Israel, they are catering to the concept that Hitler had. And it could lead to persecution of the Jews. See, he started out his attack upon those.
So what he's actually just saying right here is that Hitler, that gives credibility to the people who said that Hitler was saying that why are you guys following that Schwarzer religion? That's a religion of the Schwarzers, of the black people. All right, that gives legitimacy to the people who wrote that Hitler claimed that was the Jew, the religion, or the way of the so-called black people. He called that Schwarzer religion. All right, it was rumored that this is what Hitler was saying. All right, why are you following that religion? All right, that's the way of the Schwarzer, Schwartz, like Schwarzenegger. You're basically black. All right, Schwartz meaning nigger or Niger, Neger meaning nigger or Niger, both meaning dark. All right, remember nigger is the actual way that the word is pronounced, and it didn't have the negative connotation that it has now. If you go back, 600-700 years ago, it didn't have the same negative connotation that it has now. It just was a description. It was no different from saying, black meaning dark. All right, swarthy.
That do not believe his point of view. That possibly everyone that does not believe that the Jews are Israel are actually agreeing with Germany and the Nazis, which is not true. But that's just the old game.
Let's give some receipts right here. All right. Because the actual Germans before Hitler was there were so-called black people after the fall of Rome. Let's give you the receipts to prove that. Because this guy, toward the end, he talks about how, that this is why they call Caucasians, because all the Hebrews fled into near and around the Caucasus Mountain. Yet the Khazars are not Jayish. But here in 1751, Ben Franklin, his book, Why Increase the Sons of Africa? Why should the Palatine Moors, Germans, be suffered to swarm into our settlements? They will never be able to adopt our customs any more can they adopt our complexion, white skin. All of Africa, Asia, and America, except for us, are black. Russia, Italy, Spain, France, Swedes, and Germans are black. And this is a German tapestry from 1450. From 1400s, all right? Now let's look at it closer. All right? Those are the Edomites, that German tapestry, attacking this castle full of so-called black people, Israelites, wearing mitres with garments on with fringes at the bottom. All right, wearing mitres around their head, where the crown of their head is not exposed, unlike the J-ish converts who actually cover the crown of their head. All right, this is from the 1400s, from the 14th century. So you even have to ask yourself, who's the real Germans? Okay, so a lot of things are going to be revealed here in this lie. A lot of questions, a lot of we're going to completely dissect everything that Charles Jennings is saying, as he dissects everything that Rabbi Jonathan Cahn has said.
Of accusing your opponent.
I don't have time for bullshit, so I use a no bullshit pen. I am Chef Sam
we don't
Tyler.
have time
I've
for
been
your
cooking for
bullshit.
37 years. What the hell?
Fuck up.
Number two, he said, you are anti the state of Israel. And number three is that it's anti-Semitism. And really, point number four, you are the enemy. You are the enemy of the Jewish people, and you are the enemy of God by not believing, quote, his interpretation of the Bible. I made some notes so that I can properly respond to what he was saying.
Now listen closely to what Charles Jennings goes into, because in all my life I never understood this and never learned this until it was taught to me, to us, in this thing of ours, by the apostles and elder bishops of the Great Millstone. This whole thing about about all 18 nations and all the different Hebrew nations, and that to call someone an anti-Semite, all right, first of all, the man's name was Shem, so they're Shemites, and Charles Jennings is going to show you that they changed the word to try to limit it to the narrative that they control. And he goes into all the different races, nations of people that are also Semitic, and how insignificant in number that anyone who is Jewish would be, all right, who happens to be Semitic. They really are Shemitics, but they are not of Jacob. Okay, so pay close attention.
Now, he went on to say that an apology is needed for the persecution of the Jews throughout history, going back 2,000 years. Who is that apology going to come from? Who does he expect to apologize? We weren't living back then. I had nothing to do.
That's someone who does not really know the Bible as well as he thinks. We all were back then, and every 3 to 4 generations we regenerate. All right. This is an individual that does not acknowledge, or he does not understand the regeneration, the reincarnation. It is completely and totally biblical. And I'm not going to go into that right now. You know, that's a whole nother lesson. It's been done 1,000 times. The scriptures that substantiate what I just said. If you don't know, then you don't know. I highly suggest that you go watch some of our some of my videos, some of the apostles, elders, some of the other bros videos to talk about. You can even just put in GMS reincarnation, and I'm sure hundreds of videos will pop up with the scriptural receipts to prove it.
With the persecution of the Jews in the Middle Ages had nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
So it's not our responsibility to apologize. But I'm sure that he's thinking that it's the church's responsibility to apologize. So it's the old intimidation game that they're playing, not only religiously, but they're playing it politically now in Congress and throughout the political world. Now individual states such as South Dakota and Florida and other states are making laws against anti-Semitism. But what is anti-Semitism? They don't define it. I have a chart before me, and it's a genealogy chart concerning the family of Shem.
Ah, here we go.
They say if you're against the Jews,
He didn't say Sem, he said Shem. Ask yourself why they changed the name to Sem.
Anti-Semitic.
My friend ordered this gel polish and changed her manicure every 10 days. This gel polish can be removed in 1 minute at home.
But yet,
this is how you know this We Woke channel is paid opposition, because it's monetized. The truth is not going to be monetized.
the Semitic family is bigger than the Jews.
Much
It's
bigger.
bigger than Israel. Because Shem had 4 sons, Shem being one of the sons of Noah. He had 4 sons, Elam, Asher,
It's Elam, Ashur,
had 5 sons, Arphaxad,
Arphaxad,
Lud, and Aram.
Aram.
Where are the descendants?
See, he's using using Edomite vowel points, Eurasian vowel points from the Latin languages. All right, and not the actual Hebrew.
Of those 5 sons, they're Shemites, they're in the world. So really it's a misapplication to say that if you say anything against a Jewish person or you disagree with them, you're anti-Semitic.
Exactly.
Am I anti-Elam, anti-Asher, which is the father of the Assyrian people?
Yep. So basically, Elam being the people that you refer to as the people in India and in Nepal and around that area. Ashur being the Aryans who are also of Ishmael. All right. That's what Arab literally means, mongrel. That's basically a mix of that's Ishmael and Elam intermixing. That's basically what that's describing. If you didn't know.
Am I anti-Arphaxad? Am I anti?
And out of Arphaxad's line is the line that Eber literally means Hebrew. He doesn't tell you that, or Ibar from the past, because that's the language of heaven, and that's the language that stayed with them, which is not Yiddish. And they use the ancient form of Hebrew to write it on top of that. I always tell you the fact that they use the Assyrian script and use a language basically that they created in the late 1880s and attached the Assyrian Hebrew characters to it is evidence of their fraud.
Lud? Am I anti-Aram?
Aram,
which is the father of the Arameans or the Syrians. And Arphaxad had Selah as a son, Eber,
Ibar, Hebrew, and Abram. I think that's Genesis 13 and 14 or 14 and 13. Abram, the Hebrew. Someone could put that on the comment board, Babu Kasha. All right. Abram was a Hebrew. He wasn't J-ish. These people try to, I've been telling you, and he pretty much says the same thing. They use that J word to hijack Israel. All right. They use that J word to hijack Hebrew. They use the J word to hijack Israelites. So they make it one word to basically cover all those things and create all this confusion, and people don't know the difference between the two, or between someone being J-ish and someone being a Judean, being up from the tribe of Judah, or Yahawada to be said properly.
So Eber was the father of the Hebrews, and he had a son named Joktan. So that means if you're anti-Semitic, you're anti all of these people.
Exactly.
Everyone that came from Shem. The descendants of Shem are Arphaxad, Selah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah. And Terah
so he's going, now it's just getting redundant, because all he really has to do is just go up to Abraham, because Abraham was told to get from among them, because Abraham was following the one true God. That's why he was told to come from among his people. All right. And then through him, Isaac and Jacob and Esau was born. He's going to break that down, because Esau is two Hebrews. Esau is a Hebrew, and Esau is the father of the Edomites, which is the father of the so-called Caucasian race.
Had two sons, Nahor and Haran. And then Nahor had Bethuel, and then there's Laban. Rebekah and Leah and Rachel. And Haran had Iscah and Milcah, and out of that line came Lot. So all those people would be.
And Lot's children were Ammon and Moab, all right, who are also Hebrew, and those are your Japanese and Chinese today, all right. And when you look at their language is nothing but broken Hebrew, and they also write and read from right to left, not left to right, like Esau.
Considered Shemites.
Yes, they are.
Terah was the father of Abraham, and Abraham by Hagar had Ishmael, so they're Shemites.
Ishmael and the majority of, and they are Shemites, like he was saying, are the majority of your Arab, so-called Arab nations today. Most of them are Ishmael.
This is my favorite classy gift to give.
Oh boy, that's so irritating.
Keturah, he had 6 sons.
Now, Keturah was a so-called African woman and Hamite woman that Abraham had 6 sons with.
By Keturah. So all of those people are Shemites.
Yep. And these are talking points that the great millstone has been saying all along. I've been talking about this for the last 16 years, man. About these bloodlines and who's Esau, Edom, and who's Jacob. So that's, and when Christianity has completely ducked and dodged this topic, this man has been watching our videos.
Then he had Isaac, Esau, Jacob. So every one of those people would be Shemites.
You hear that?
So why?
You stupid BOI Israelites. Esau is also a Shemite. They are Hebrew Edomites. They're still Hebrew.
Why are the Jews using this trigger accusation?
Exactly. That whole Jayish and anti-Semitic thing is a trigger point for people who are ignorant of these facts that's being shared.
Against anyone that speaks against the deeds or the misdeeds.
And the misdeeds of genocide and land theft and outright murder, and even the worst crime, identity theft of the Jayish.
Of the Jewish people, or disagree with them in any way. It's a misnomer. It means nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It's just something that they have used as an accusation upon the ignorant minds of church people.
And you church people are indeed ignorant. All right? Especially you Negroes in this Edomite church system, which tells you nothing but lies, with a smile on their face. Look at this bald-faced lying piece of...
will not read their Bible, and
he's showing you how the rabbi lied, why he's going to lie right to you himself.
Study the biblical genealogy of the Old Testament. So they just bow under this guilt of anti-Semitism, and they shrink into the background and submit. Well,
no, it's not even that. The Jayish put themselves in the positions of power. Well, some of these churches, they know, the leaders know that they're teaching lies. All right, but Esau Amalek has basically secured control over the government here in America. The Amalekites are ruling everything. All the different organizations, they're all in the church organizations, they're in the schools, the textbooks, the seminaries, medical. They are controlling everything. All right. And if you speak against them, they will cut off your funding. That's why no one speaks against them. But they're being exposed and their time is short. So anything that they do, they can't do for much longer.
Isaac had Jacob and Esau. What about Esau's? The father of the Edomites.
That's right.
Aren't they?
William Beeston, the Kingdom 1850 book, Rome, the Kingdom of the Edomites. Okay, all these videos where these rabbis are calling out white Christianity as being the Edomites. Charles Jennings, what about that? Okay, yeah, what about that, buddy?
Edomites. Jacob had 12 sons.
And so did Esau. Esau had 12. They became the dukes. All right.
All those are Shemites. You see,
So Jacob and Esau, their seeds are Hebrews. The difference being that Esau's children are the Edomites, and Jacob's children became the 12 tribes, his 12 sons and his one daughter. And it goes to show you that your lineage is through your man because it's through a man because his daughter, there's no tribe of Dinah anywhere.
Shemite is not Abrahamic. And every Abrahamic person is not Israel.
You hear that?
And
that's the Christian doctrine. Then if you are Abraham, then you're Abraham. No, you're not. You have to be through Jacob. That's where the seed is called. Period.
Every Jew is not of Israel. As Jews that we know today, and every Israelite is not a Jew.
That's right.
Then stop using toothpaste.
If you wanted your teeth to actually get clean,
these monetized videos, man, this we woke. This is some bullshit, man. All right. And once again, they're not gonna identify the Northern Kingdom. So even this channel, they on bullshit, man. All right, this is Esau trying to control the narrative.
I have another chart before me that I have entitled Abraham's Genealogy to the Fourth Generation. There's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel. And he had 12 sons and one daughter. And when you trace the genealogy of Jacob or Abraham to the fourth generation, you come up with 52 different tribes or groups.
And only one matters, Jacob's 12 sons. All right, that's it. Because this is where he starts going off then, right here.
Groups, 52 different groups. And only one would be, quote, Judah. Only.
And he's got a point with that. And that will be the tribe of Yahweh out of the 12 tribes of Israel.
One. So that this chart demonstrates that Shelah, who represents the Jew of today, is only one of the 51 sons in the fourth generation from Abraham. Where are the descendants of the other 50 sons who are not called Jews?
Exactly.
This means that the Jews
but are still Israelites.
represent only 1.96% of the entire Abrahamic family. Even if Pharaz,
and remember, the whole family doesn't even matter. Only Jacob's sons. All right. This is Jeremiah 17:4, because he goes on to talk about how, the J-ish people claim that they've been Israel for 2,000 years. And how can that be? Israel got scattered to the four corners of the earth among all people. This is Jeremiah 17:4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger that will burn forever, which literally means a long time, not forever, because Israel is going to be redeemed. So that's why you have to look words up in the Hebrew and in the Greek, which they were actually written in, because if you read it in English, then that means there's no redemption for Israel. If it actually means it shall burn forever. All right. So you really have to keep that in mind when you're reading the Bible. All right. You really have to go into the languages, which is something that we learned from the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone. No one else was teaching that. Now everyone wants to go into the blue letter and have readers. It's funny how they hate the Hebrew Israelites so much, but all of Christendom, Christianism is basically mimicking us in many ways. A lot of them learn from us, and then they go back to their churches and they share with their congregations as if they came up with this, and they did not, and they still get it wrong. Okay. Then he goes on to say, and I highly suggest that you watch this video. Then he goes on to say how the Israelites fled, towards the Caucasus Mountains, which is why they're called Caucasians, which is a complete and total lie. That's a lie. Okay, remember, Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. All right. The Lord fled into Egypt to blend in, all right, to hide. And right here, I'm just going to share something with you. This is a pharaoh that they dug up about a month ago, a little over a month ago. 3,000-year-old pharaoh. All right. Proving that these people, you remember the Israelites were, in the Bible, were confused. Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. All right. Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian. Moses grew up in the house of Pharaoh. So if he was looking like, Rabbi Jonathan Kahn, let's see if we can find him real quick.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is base 40.
Things don't apply. In fact,
Okay, back to my point before I was so rudely interrupted with YouTube's bullshit. How can this man hide among the Egyptian pharaohs or live in the house of Pharaoh? See, the receipts, I have a book by Snowden on the shelf behind me. I forget the name of it. But he says in that book how important relics are over the text, because they'll write in the text whatever they want while the relics tell you a different story. Okay, another example. They'll tell you that the Khazars weren't real when even though they and then this guy Jennings showed you that and other people in here show you that the history about the Khazars is very real and their conversion. And here's an ancient symbol of the Khazars, and here's a modern day symbol of the Ukrainian army from the Caucasus Mountain behind it. These people came from the Caucasus Mountains. Their symbols are still alive. There are people, and you go up to Ukrainian village right here in Chicago, and you'll see this on people's cars. You see it on their hoodies, on their shirts. I see it all the time. So the Khazars, the Edomites, are still around, and these people converted to Judaism in the 7th century. Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakak, Wadash, Kwam, Yasharala, Abad, Babal.